So it takes me an hour on these two-lane farm highways. I mean, there's nothing but farms anywhere you can see. There's one tiny little town that has one gas station in between my city and the city where the airport is. So this one morning, I'm getting ready to go to Wisconsin. It's in the middle of winter. There's no snow, but it's really cold, and I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport for this flight. So I get in the car, I'm driving along, and then all of a sudden, an alert comes on my car, and it says, traction control error. And I'm looking at the roads, and I'm like, I mean, they look fine. I don't think I need any traction. I have no idea what that means. So I just keep driving. All of a sudden, I can't go faster than 30 miles per hour. And then, all of a sudden, a thing just flashes and it says, turn engine off, turn engine off. So I'm like, I gotta get to the airport. So I call my husband, I'm like, honey, I don't know what to do. It says turn the engine off. And he's like, turn the engine off. Dang it. So I roll into this gas station, the only gas station, the only place to stop, really, between my city and the airport. So I get in here. And my husband's like, okay, it seems to be overheating, or I'm telling him, and it seems to be overheating. So he's like, okay, just check the radiator fluid. Now, when I was in college, I was like, I don't need a man. I can do all my car stuff. Now that I'm married, I'm like, honey, I don't know how to open the hood. And he's like, honey, there's a latch. I'm like, no, they didn't make a latch. And I cannot get this hood open. So I have to go find somebody to come and help me open the hood on my car. So I get this guy to come over, and I'm like, yeah, can you open the hood? Because I got to check the radiator fluid. And he was like, okay, he opens the hood. And I'm like, where's the radiator fluid? So he shows me where the radiator fluid. I go into the gas station. And I'm like, I need to get radiator fluid because I'm trying to get to the airport. I got to speak tonight, and how could this be happening to me? And I'm just freaking out. I'm telling everybody, get the radiator fluid, put it in, turn the car on. Seems to be working fine. I'm like, all right, this is good. So I get back on the road. I'm about 10 minutes into this drive, several miles from this gas station, when all of a sudden smoke starts coming out of the engine. And turn engine off, turn engine off. I'm like, oh no. So I pull over and I'm like, there's no way, I'm not gonna make it in time. Even if somebody could come and get me, I'm not gonna make it in time. So I call my husband and I say, honey, you're gonna have to get AAA. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is it, I'm gonna have to tell them I can't make the event. So my husband says, okay, don't worry. So I hang up with him and I'm sitting in the car and I said, God, if you want me to get to this event, you have to provide a way. Within seconds, this car pulls up, the guy rolls down his window, and he says, hey, are you the girl trying to get to the airport? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, I was just at that gas station, and they said there's a young girl trying to get to the airport, and I would be happy to take you there. And I was like, okay. My mom said, never to do this. But I did just pray that if I was supposed to get to the airport, God would provide a way. So I'm like, okay. So I pull the car over into this kind of farm lot, and I get out and I get into the car. And I'm 6 months pregnant at the time, because I'm always pregnant. So I'm 6 months pregnant, and I shut the door, and I'm like, this was a terrible idea. I'm gonna die. I just had this totally, what am I doing? And so I tell the guy, because I'm like, I'll just tell him I'm pregnant. Nobody's gonna wanna mess with a pregnant lady. So I'm like, I'm 6 months pregnant. He's like, okay, congratulations. And so we head down to the airport. Then my husband calls me. I forgot about him. So he calls me and he's like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, on the way to the airport. And he goes, oh, the car's working? And I said, I got a ride. And he's like, with who? And I said, what's your name? Josh Smith. And my husband, he just starts going on. Now, I think it's very rude manners to start talking about, somebody like they're a psycho killer, in front of their face. So I'm like, I have to hang up on you, honey. I love you, but if you don't hear from me in 20 minutes, call the cops. Hang up. So Josh Smith ends up being very nice. We get to the airport, and I'm getting ready to get out of the car, and my husband calls me again, and we didn't have an extra set of keys for this car. So he says, hey, did you leave the keys in the car so that I can get the car fixed while you're gone? I was like, no, I didn't. But Josh Smith overhears, and he's like, I could take the keys, and I'll meet up with your husband later. And I'm like, okay, because I feel like at this point, you know, if you're gonna trust, like, you just need to trust all the way.